Well, Soumya Vishwanathan's cold-blooded murder has made everyone jittery, scared, unsafe and helpless. Not just in Delhi, safety of women returning home late after work has become an issue of huge concern. Well, is it anything less than a miracle then that the working women return home safely after a long day at work, making that dangerous journey at night, night after night, alone and in the dark? We investigate the extreme anxiety and sense of insecurity in women after Soumya's murder. Joining us on the show a little later, Ms. Ranjana Kumari, head of CSR, also Roshni Rana, she is a radio jockey for Popular FM station. Also joining us a little later, Mr. Maxwell Pereira, former Joint Commissioner of Police, Delhi Police. In fact, we'd be discussing them in detail how women are still feeling unsafe and what could really be done to sort this out.
National capital's Vasant Kunj, easily considered one of the safest area not only in Delhi but of the entire nation. After all, many powerful diplomats stay a stone's throw away. Headlines today: Soumya Vishwanathan's death has shattered that notion. She was found dead in her white Zen car with a bullet in her head. In the wee hours of the morning last Tuesday, somebody had shot her dead. The ghastly incident took place just about half a kilometer from the Vasant Kunj police station while she was returning from work. At the time of the murder, not only was there any police patrol on the lonely stretch of the road, the street lights were also not working.
नहीं, गोली फोली चलनी तो हम सो गए जी, पर हमारा इलेक्ट्रिशियन का काम है बिजली का, हमारी लाइट बंद करके लाइट बंद कर दी थी, केबल काटी थी। फाल्ट होता है जब केबल कट जाती है।
तो आपको कैसे पता लगा कि केबल काटी गई है?
देखा सवेरे मैंने जब केबल कटी हुई।
आपके इलेक्ट्रिशियन है?
हाँ जी।
The lack of police presence has made the road even more dangerous.
और कई दफ़ा कंप्लेंट की है लोगों ने, कई दफ़ा कंप्लेंट की है कि लाइटें पूरी नहीं जलती हैं यहाँ पर। पुलिस या तो उस कॉर्नर पर खड़े रहते हैं या फिर जो मैंने बताया आपको, पेट्रोलिंग इज नॉट प्रॉपर।
And ironically, Munirka, which falls under the Vasant Vihar police station, is known to have one of the highest crime rates. This area is reportedly notorious for drug peddling. Considering all this, policing in this area has not increased. In Soumya's case, the investigators are yet to find a motive. No eyewitness, no vital breakthroughs. One only hopes Soumya's brutal murder does not end up as one more statistics in annals of crime which goes unresolved. The question that comes to our mind is, are we alive because murderers are scared of the police, or is it because they have yet to point a gun towards us?
So investigations so far have drawn a blank, but to see if anything has changed since Soumya Vishwanathan's murder, we trace the journey of perils and risks that we all have to endure every night as we head back home, and the situation is hardly assuring.
Delhi roads don't respect its women. My colleague Soumya Vishwanathan's murder stands testimony to the fact. For most working women in Delhi, getting home is an ordeal they live with every day. It's nearing midnight, my day at work is just about wrapping up, and I am driving home alone. Will I reach home safe? That is one question that resounds in the minds of many like me, getting louder as the time to leave inches closer. Getting to the parking lot, a brisk walk, looking over your shoulder whether you were being followed, a desperate fumble to reach the car keys, getting inside and locking the door. A seamless drill, practiced to perfection by women like me and the most watching. Driving through the heart of Delhi, a high security zone they call it. It's about 12:30 at night and not a single security personnel. Am I looking confident enough? I hope I haven't glanced at the car next to me. I hope nobody's seen me driving alone. I hope I don't get followed again today. Questions most women like me battle with while driving home alone at night. Wide lonely stretch, no street lights, no security personnel for miles. A stretch most of us cover every day just to get home. God forbid if I was to have a flat tire. Would anybody stop and help? And God forbid if anybody stopped, what would happen? It's 1 a.m. Finally I'm home. My parents would heave a sigh of relief. Constantly looking over your shoulder, that's one phrase every working woman in the capital has come to live with. The capital of a country where urban progressive India, Delhi, struggles to keep pace with unsafe India. With camera person Zafar Khan, Preeti Chaudhary in Delhi for Headlines Today.
All right, let's talk to our guests. Let's go across to Ms. Ranjana Kumari first. Ranjana, what do you feel just being a woman robs you of your right to drive around, move around safely and freely? At least that's what Soumya Vishwanathan's murder reminds many women across the country who travel at night. Or do women really have to devise ways, newer ways every time to deal with, lewd comments, gestures, or even cases of road rage?
Well, I don't think just, because you are a woman, you need to devise ways for your protection by yourself. What is the state doing? I mean, this murder happened between the two major police stations, Vasant Kunj police station and also the Vasant Vihar police station. If police does not have its impact within the 5 kilometers of a road which is between these two major police stations and criminals are at large, then how much can you protect yourself? And also when a working woman has to go home, I mean, this is part of her compulsion when she is trying to pursue a career. So many girls are today trying to pursue a career and they will go home in any hour of the night, and it is, even if it is not from work, even if you're going for a party, you're going home from a discotheque, whatever, the protection of every citizen is the responsibility of the state. And if state cannot provide the protection, then I am very sorry to say the state of affairs in Delhi, it is becoming bad to worse, and we need to think, and also at least the Delhi state government needs to think how to really devise that protection, because I don't see anywhere that police has any kind of impact in terms of really, some kind of a scare for the criminals. They're just at large.
Right, and the presence too is hardly reassuring. Let's also go across to Mr. Pereira. Pereira, you've been the Joint Commissioner of Delhi Police. So what do you feel? Do you think the security arrangements are somewhat futile? We have so much security at central places like India Gate, but stretches like Nelson Mandela Marg, where my colleague Soumya Vishwanathan was murdered, it lies absolutely unattended. What about the security? What sort of security arrangement is this?
Before anything else, let me first of all say that it's very sad that there has been the loss of a lovely young child, 25-year-old, and while returning home she has been victimized, she has been murdered. My condolences to the family, and I think at this moment the first thing is to express the deep anguish of the manner in which this child has been murdered. That having been said, now I come to the points that have been made by Ms. Ranjana Kumari, and you have said. I think we need to take the matter in the right perspective. has it become fashionable now all the time to be pointing a finger and screaming at the police? I mean, what exactly is this one? I went through the records, when you all contacted me that you need to, need me on the show about this case. I took efforts, I really took pains to find out what exactly had happened. I mean, the call comes at 3:43 in the morning. The nearest, the PCR van gets a call at 3:43 and rushes to the spot. It takes 2 minutes to reach. I mean, where in the world can the police reach a spot within 2 minutes? It happened to be that Munirka Mode, the vehicle was there, and the vehicle got the message, and when they reached there, the body was still warm, the car engine was running, the lights were on, and they immediately took the victim and rushed her to the hospital. And what more kind of a police response do you want? And what is the why are you going on screaming, and why are you trying to, project a whole thing? We don't want things to happen. But when it happens, that is the reaction.
I get your point.
But I want to ask a question. Who's supposed to be then taking care of the citizens of the city, and especially girls who are working in the night and who are going home? And when you are saying within 2 minutes the police reach the spot, obviously how far is it? Because I live in Vasant Kunj and I drive through that road every day, and I know that it is between the two major police stations. I mean, can't police provide some kind of a, can't they go and take some rounds in the night? Cannot,
no fear in the minds of criminals, because they're going ahead committing such a crime. When Ranjana just mentioned the spot where she was
vehicle
murdered,
can reach in 2 minutes. What other police presence do you want? What other police presence are you talking about? What patrolling are you talking about? If a police vehicle is there in 2 minutes, what more do you want? What kind of a patrolling do you want? Police can't be omnipresent everywhere. I mean, this is a had hai. What the hell is going on? It's become fashionable for
at every nook and cranny. We get your point, Mr.
What is this?
Essentially, the state is absolving itself of the responsibility
they're trying to talk of human
protecting
rights,
the citizens. This is what is happening.
Making it into a fake encounter. What the hell is happening?
You see,
what the hell is this?
Let's not divert from the subject. We are talking about security of women.
No, I'm not diverting from the I mean, right. It is so fashionable. There is not a... I talked to the DCP now.
But there is no need for excitement.
7 months.
Mr. Pereira,
there is
not to point fingers at each other. Our point is not to point fingers at each other. We'd of course come back to the debate. We'll also try and look for solutions here, because pointing fingers won't get us anywhere. So at this point, we take a short break. On the other side, well, we talk to some of the other victims of road rage, women who've had harrowing time on Delhi's road. And is there a solution really which we can all work together on? We discuss all that on the other side of the break. Welcome back. That Delhi is an unsafe place was once again reaffirmed after the murder of a promising young journalist, Soumya Vishwanathan, on Tuesday night. We have a guest here. We also have Roshi Rana. She is a radio jockey with a very popular FM station. Roshi, we are saying these are not isolated incidents. You also encountered one harrowing incident. Just take us through briefly what really happened. And in the hindsight, do you think you could have done things differently to have avoided that?
Absolutely. We were going back home from a very good friend's party, and that is the time when there was a cab driver, and there were 3 of us. That's 2 other friends and I. He tried to take us elsewhere, and when we called the police and asked them to track us down, because we didn't know where we were in the city or outside the city, the police was very helpless with it, said that they couldn't trace us, and we were left to our own devices of trying to help the situation. We did manage to get the guy to the cops somehow, and when we reached the Noida toll bridge, there was this problem of whose jurisdiction it was. That is the time we needed to feel very reassured that the police was understanding the kind of harrowing time we had had. By the time this happened, we were very late into the night, but we didn't get any assistance. And now on hindsight, we do carry pepper sprays and any form of defense for ourselves, because we don't know when help will come, if at all it will.
All right, that was your experience. One such case, Mr. Pereira, there have been cases after cases, scant, rare, hardly reassuring. That's what people have to say when they talk about, police present there for them. But let's not get into finger pointing here. We'll go to Mr. Pereira a little later. I believe we are just trying to settle that link there. If I could come to Ms. Ranjana Kumari right now. What do you say, ma'am? I mean, there have been cases after cases. There needs to be, someone needs to do something to instill faith in people once again that it's safe for them to venture out, be it a man or a woman.
Yes, I think it's, I'm really sorry that instead of getting excited about the whole thing and this discussion, if Mr. Pereira had to, at least Delhi police should, instill some kind of a reassurance among the people, at least in the minds of the parents whose daughters are on the road working, coming back late in the night, that look, they will be protected. There is going to be more patrolling in Delhi. Look, there is going to be more police booths in places where girls will need some kind of help. Instead of saying all this, instead of trying to look into the system and say that, look, I mean, you just heard the story about this young girl who was misled and taken away somewhere by a taxi driver. In these kind of situations, police needs to act immediately. What is this jurisdiction? Okay, fine, jurisdiction is there, I understand that. But you can discuss all that later. But first thing and the foremost thing is to provide protection. If you cannot provide protection, then I do not know who's going to do it. If law and order machinery is trying to defend itself by saying that we reached in 2 minutes, we did this, we did that, I don't think that is the right approach. And so many parents are feeling insecure about their daughters working today. You need to say in no uncertain terms that look, Delhi, no nonsense will be tolerated by any kind of criminal element, and police is going to patrol day and night. And of course citizens will have to be also aware. People who are on the road should also protect the girls. When they see them alone, they see them asking for help, they should come forward and help. There is no doubt about that. But then law enforcement agency will have to be much more alert.
It seems it isn't just a law and order problem, but it's a societal problem as well. What has happened is something we unfortunately cannot reward, but what is important is what lessons we really learn out of this and what are we doing to avoid such incidents. For the moment, thank you very much for joining us. Thanks to all our guests. With that, it's a wrap on the show. Keep watching Headlines Today for all the latest news and updates.